Good evening. It's the 3rd of November 2023. Uh, a short video in English on a Friday night in Turkey. It's about 8:40 p.m. here, so it must be 7 hours earlier. I think the sunlight hours are changing this Sunday, so must see what's going on over there. I hope my voice is being heard because uh, I had a problem a couple of days ago. I had to redo the live show because I don't tape my videos. I just do them live, uh, haphazard, without reading from somewhere. Just, whatever. I pick a subject and talk about it. So that's how I go around it. So tonight, there are two subjects I'd like to talk to you. One is, of course, training on investment and how to invest in any item, not just one type of investment. But I can give you as a sample stock exchange, US, or gold, either one, or silver, or a mixture. So the main idea, and then we'll come to the saga, which I mentioned in the uh, what's under the video, not on the cover thumbnail. So one is a real life story from the USA. The other one is a real life experience. Okay, what people do by mistake, they come in and go out and change papers, or in gold, when they buy something and then when they think they had good profit, they quickly leave, sell, and hoping that it's going to go down again and buy again, so he can buy cheap, sell high, and become rich and make a lot of money. So this system never works. It works one time, second time, third time it fails totally, because it either doesn't come back so fast, or when it goes really up, you are not in the market. Just let me explain. This has been, as I mentioned in previous videos, this have been made by statistics, and people who stay with the market and keep investing, whatever you are buying, keep just adding on top of it. If prices are falling, put more, if you can buy, if you have enough cash. If not, just let it go, then, but keep invested, keep staying invested. Right now we are in November, and November is famous for United States stock exchange to be one of the best months. Last month was the worst month because of we the US had two big crises, one in 2008, one in early 1929, 1930. Both of them were in October. November is known as a good month, but there is no guarantees. So, but what you can guarantee, you can be disciplined to stay and not to sell. This doesn't mean totally staying invested. That's also wrong, because if you look at any subject, I can show you examples. Gold was $2,000 a couple of years ago, and it's still today. It reached 2,000. It's the third peak that it made, triple peak of 2,000. So they are saying it's trying to go through the ceiling, and but it can't. It's just coming back. And I told today, gold does not move very fast. It's what I call slow brother, slow but sure steps it takes. And so you cannot see the things that happen in a regular market, where stocks move 5%, 10% up and down. And like right now, today, yesterday, we had a good increase in the US stock market, about close to 2%. Tonight, I'm checking again. There's still a good increase in the US stock market. Dow Jones is at the moment, it's still continuing for another 3 hours. Dow Jones is up 257 points. That's 0.76%, less than 1%. S&P 500 is up exactly 1%. Nasdaq is up 1.26%. Russell 2000 is up 2.50, 2.5%. So these are the American stocks. Turkish stocks today covered about half a point up the BIST 100, BIST 50 0.73, BIST 30 0.72. So we can see most of the stock exchanges were up. The reason being, gold does not act quickly, but stock exchanges act quickly because the bonds are number one. Then comes the stocks. The latest movers are the gold. Okay, so then people holding gold or investing in gold, they get furious. They say, how come they're all moving up and this gold is not moving up? So it's very normal. They may go up a couple of days. They may fall like a stone. Gold doesn't do that. $3, $5, small movements. I have seen gold make moves over $60 per day, and in fact, in a couple of days, back to back. But it's not that environment at the moment because everybody thinks gold moves, or I can't say everybody thinks. I don't think, at least, gold moves in war situation. In gold doesn't move in stagflation, in recession. The reason it moves in recession, when there's recession, when there's stagflation, people are losing their jobs. They are hungry. How can they buy gold? When the world they're all being kicked out of their jobs, losing their jobs. How can people buy gold? So the real reason behind it is once this stagflation or recession hits a country, gold knows that only way for the federal governments and the central banks to get out of this situation, of this recession and stagflation, quickly, urgently, within a year or year and a half, that's how long a recession lasts, they will print money again. And when you print money, it ends up in inflation. So gold knows that there will be inflation. Similarly, when we had the cerveza disease last 2-3 years ago, gold went up from 1650 USD of ounce to 2000 USD an ounce. And okay, again, another problem, the disease. It's not the disease. The gold knows that they are going to print a lot of money because people are going to be kept home. So they will be given checks. So gold investors anticipate this. Whenever they see a problem, they know a lot of money is going to be printed. For the wars are the same, because when there is a war, it's not what are you hedging from during a war? Bombs? No, gold will not be under bombs or taken out. The big problem is to match the cost of the war, they're going to print like hell, a lot of money. So gold knows this, they're going to print the money. So the going up of the price of gold in ounces is not a result of something. It's an indication that inflation is going to pop up, okay? So that's why it buys in the front. So when the thing happens, the real war starts and everything, then you say, how come it's not increasing? The war started, or because it already bought it in the early stages. So right now, the gold does not believe that real war is about to start between many nations in Israel and Hamas. So this slight move, which is $120, is not the result of that. Once we start printing money and start, giving money to warring sides, and in big amounts, just print, then gold will see this, and you will see gold go up first, then the crisis will start afterwards, okay? So it's just the news of the crisis. The gold watches, and then gold investors, of course. Gold is not a smart item. It's just a metal. It's the buyers. when they see the risk, they know there is going to be a lot of money printing following it. So that's what I wanted to mention, because most people say it's a safe haven. It's not a safe haven from war or diseases. It's a safe haven from printing money of the government without collecting taxes. So when you keep printing money, which is the real cause of the inflation, a friend was saying this morning, when you see the streets are all wet, you're not gonna say, oh, it will probably rain soon. It already rained. Okay, that's why the streets are wet. But in inflation, they skew it so badly. They look at the prices in the market and say, "Oh, it rained. The prices are high." Okay, which is not the reason, because they printed so much money. It rained. The price increases rained into the economy. So you cannot go from a result to the cause. The cause is printing a lot of money, not the result. So also, on the second part, I like to mention about some of my experiences. I like to talk about the USA. I worked the last time, no, one before last time I've been to the United States. I was in Virginia, Norfolk. I was working in a defense industry, and it's a base, big base, huge base. I mean, like they have a hunting license for 300-400 deers within the base. It's such a big base, with golf courses, movies, theaters, shopping areas, and it was producing explosives. Okay, the bombs you see, from thrown from the Navy ships and everywhere. That's where they were being produced. So it's a naval weapons station. That's where I work. Okay, now I like to tell you about some funny things, because people who live in the United States, they may think this is the normal. It's not the normal. While I was working there, I had friends from all over, from Belgium, Germany, Europe, Denmark, so all from everywhere. But also there were Canadians and American civilians and officers. So we were chatting with them. I was running the computer system for the. I was both finance director and computer, running the computer system, which is used by the people in that section. Anyway, there it had like 36 terminals. It was IBM 36. At its time, it was one of the biggest systems available. But now it has less power than much less power than my cell phone. It cannot compete with this, of course. That this is something different. This is only I have. Today, I got an offer for this. I met a friend of mine who happens to live nearby. He said, "I just discovered you. I started watching it during September." So he said, "Will you sell me your calculator?" I said, "No way. That's many presidents and sheikhs from Saudi Arabia are after this computer, but it's not for sale." So anyway, that's why what we talked about. What happened was, at the base, we were working hard time, setting up the base. I was the first initial crew of this group. So we were awarded with big plaques of Navy ships and everything, because we were the first group that started the unit. Anyway, and one day at lunchtime, a couple of guys came. "Hey, today let's go dine outside. Let's not eat in the base." So there is no free meals like Turkey. You have to pay for lunch, for coffee and tea as well. So you don't have a tea serving lady like you have in Turkey. Free from the boss. No way. You buy your own coffee, tea, snacks, everything. Put it in the lounge, okay, and then whenever somebody feels like having a tea, coffee, or a snicker, what he does, he just drops the money into a box. There's no computerized vending system or anything. Or when we need to buy coffee, they buy in bulk, so we all dip in, like pay $10-20. So it's bought jointly. So everybody who goes to the lounge, there were some people who were living in the lounge. They were doing the coffee all the time. So because whenever you go there, they were the same person in the lounge. They enjoyed drinking coffee. So one of these guys was some sort of sleepy like this. I said, yeah, what's the problem with you? You look tired. He said, I work 3 jobs a week. 3 jobs, like part-time? He said, no, full-time 3 jobs. I said, how can you do that? You work 8 hours here, then you leave this place, you go work another 7-8 hours somewhere else. Then when you leave that job, you go work another 7-8 hours. And then in the morning, you come back here. He said, exactly. I said, why you do that? I said, I need more money. Why do you need more money? Well, my wife calls her mother, and calls were expensive at that time. It's not like free, like from WhatsApp calls. So like I had to call Turkey once a week. So I gave them timeline. I said, I'm going to call you on Sundays at 10 o'clock. So we talked with the family for half an hour or something. You get like today's value, $800 telephone bill just by talking international talk. Okay. No freebies. So his wife was calling her mother, and they were getting better telephone check than me, but $300-400, because the wife wanted to chat with her mother. So I said, why don't you tell your wife not to call her mother solo? He said, that's not the American way. We must find a way so that we can pay for it, so my wife can talk to her mother this long. I said, that's the way you do. Well, that's, I think, how most Americans are behaving. So because when I leave the base at like 6 o'clock, most people were, I said, you going home? No, I'm going to the cafeteria. And he's a officer, or sergeant, staff sergeant. He said, what do you do? I said, I'm going to the pizza shop. I'm going to cook pizza until 10 o'clock. So everybody had this second jobs. And I said, they must be in really bad situation, looking for. So this happens. So it may not sound normal to a Turkish person. Today, the jobs report are, I have to tell another one. Then we went to the lunch outside the base. There was this topless lady dancing at lunchtime, pole dancing, topless. And the people were eating their sandwiches. And so it's not like you go to a bar at nighttime, or it's a striptease or something, just lunchtime. So they started chatting with the dancing lady. And then I'm just listening what they're saying. Lady said, I'm a lieutenant in the base, and this is what I do at lunchtime. So people were, of course, tipping her. They were bending the money like a tent. So she was picking it with her 2 hands or 2 fingers, things like that. So it's just a job. They don't care. It's naked or not. They don't care. So of course, this was a trauma for me. Uh, I mean, not because of a just Muslim country, but it's nothing we are used to. It still doesn't happen in Turkey. So at lunchtime, especially nightclubs, you may find some things like this, but not the lunchtime. So anyway, I started working 2 jobs, but I was working freelance. I started importing things from Turkey. American friend of mine, we started selling those, which I mentioned you before, the jewelry and other things. So just today, the U.S. Employment numbers are announced. So they suddenly fell a lot in October. And this is celebrated in the stock market. Everybody is happy. Hey, a lot of people got kicked out, And today, in fact, the Danish firm, a shipping firm, announced that they're going to kick out 10,000 people from their shipping lines. It's a Danish operator, famous. You'll see all their ships if you are ever looking to the bay. So people just getting kicked out, and people are very happy about it, because stock market is a ruthless people. They don't care how many people loses their job. In fact, that's why they call using their rights of getting benefits of unemployment. So it's a benefit to be kicked out. So anyway, these numbers came in much lower, people employed today. Last month it was 270,000, which they corrected downwards, which they do every month, and in big amounts, 80, 70,000. This month, they said it's 150,000 people were only able to find a job. It's funny, the quality of these jobs are terrible, because 38% of the jobs given are from government jobs, which means election time, so they are just giving people government jobs. Government jobs are not productive jobs. On the opposite, if today a government hires 1 million more workers, the other people who are civilians, or the other public, have to pay for their costs, so more taxes. So people are applauding, we're going to take another 1 million workers before these elections. Who's going to pay the salaries? You will. Okay. So this number is all skewed again. 40% are government employees. The rest, white collar, computer guys, programmers, they are all kicked out. The new job is flipping hamburgers, cooking pizzas. Okay. So with that news, even as you saw this year, today at Turkish time, 3:30, gold went up to $2,001, suddenly, because it was also thinking, no more, because Fed cannot hike the rates anymore, because now the economy is going into recession. So exactly what gold wants. But gold wants, because they're going to print money. And stock exchange is happy, even happier than gold, because they say, okay, Fed cannot increase interest rates. So that means people will not put their money into bonds. They will come to us, buy our stocks. More customers, but maybe not the ones that lost their jobs, or that are getting unemployment benefits, maybe. So this is the ideology. So I always tell in Turkish, there is a joke, but this is not between a Turk and a American. This is between American and a French guy, which are from Europe, because I visited Europe as well. Very relaxed working. United States is like a hell, for workers. You don't drive to the provided by your company, a bus service. You don't get lunch. You don't get your retirement, or leaving benefits. They say, we paid you by the hour. That's all you get, nothing else. So it's a hell, for workers. And you can work very long hours, like I mentioned. They say, we paid you, so you should have saved the money. There is no retirement pension, additional money given. In Turkey, for every year you work, if you work till the end of retirement, they almost give you one salary per year you worked. That's called kıdem tazminatı, which is not available in the US. Lunch food is not available. Bus service is not available. So that's why you see Americans carrying in paper bags sandwiches of peanut butter or tuna fish sandwiches. They eat, because if you eat with your money, your salary will go into eating outside, because the job workplace does not provide you food. So in any case, they get better payment, but they don't get some of the benefit Turkish worker get. They get right now, I know in California, they just passed a rule, even every fast food worker must get minimum $40 an hour. So if you work, a Turkish worker works 220 hours during a month. That's how it's calculated over time. So 220 times, this $20, I think, yeah, $20 an hour. It's like $4,400 a month. That's extremely good pay for just a starter job, which is just working in the fast food shop. Anyway, so this American and French guy were walking down the street in New York. They see a man passing by in Paris. Before they were in Paris, these two friends, a very luxury car passes by them. The French guy says, I wish I can take that guy down from that, luxury car. So, okay, he wants to take him down. He's jealous. And the same happens when he visits United States with his American friend. There passes a limousine by them. Then the American guy says, what do I do so that I can get on that limousine as well? So that's the difference of an ideology of how an American looks to life, or how a European, Turkish ideology is close to European, So one says, how can I take him down? The other says, what should I do to get there? So that's why they do overtime, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, without sleeping, drinking coffee every day, so not to fall asleep. He used to, I said, when do you sleep? He said, I sleep on Sundays, 1 day a week. So I just sleep whole day, 24 hours. Then go start the same hustle again, three jobs per day. As I said, well, the lieutenant's job was better, I think, it's at least better pay and lots of tips, Anyway, so this might sound very different to Turkish people, because for us, if you are in the military or officer, it's considered very degrading to do something job like this. When I started entrepreneurships and businesses, when I started importing vending machines, and some people, they were retired from military, they said, this job looks profitable. Can we get into it? I said, are you an officer or staff officer or a sergeant? He says, oh, I'm an officer. I was, major when I retired, or colonel. I said, you can't do that. Why can't I? I said, look, I know officers in Turkey, they like to dress, in discipline, clean, and don't like to showing to people that they are doing some, degrading type of carrying this type of jobs. I said, assume you are at the mall, you are going to fill up your vending machine with the toys, and 2 friends of you see you and say, hey, what are you doing, George? And you say, oh, I'm just helping your friend out or something. And if you're not feeling ashamed, you say, I started a new job. I'm an entrepreneur, But that doesn't happen in Turkey. That's the controversy of the Middle Eastern countries, People are poorer, but they want to show off as they are very rich, And if same happens in the US, the guy will say, why do you care? This is my new job. Huh? I'm making a lot of money. I'm happy. That's it. So, like I met Turkish doctors. They were extremely rich when I was in States during that time. I mentioned I found their names from the phone book before, and their wife, their daughters. These guys are, very rich. I can tell you, very rich. They were, for 1 hour waiting on duty, he was making $4,000 for 1 hour at the hospital. But the wife and daughter, they were working as a cashier in the supermarket. So this is the total ideology difference, okay? So Turkish middle class is having a very big problem now, because when I returned to Turkey, I couldn't even see girls serving coffee. Yes, this is true. I'm talking about, like 30 years before. Now, okay, everybody is serving coffees or working at the coffee stores or working as a cashier, in supermarkets, so it's normal now. But again, the middle income group or people who think they are rich, they won't get that job. So they say, okay, some poor family person needs to make a living, so they'll get this job. So some families working 3-4 people in the cities are making more money than this guy who's got a decent job, but he's only the one person working in the house, and he has to show rich, but he's poorer than the other 4. Okay, because they all have another job, so they are drawing good money to the house. I knew this when I visited some areas where they were selling rugs, furniture, plateware on installments, like 12, 30 installments. People, didn't have credit cards, but they were buying, and all these stores were in that area, not in the exclusive areas. I said, how come they're all here? Not in like where rich people are, because they spend like hell. They make a lot of money, but they spend a lot of money because that's a cultural thing. That's not because most of you think economics and making calculations is a knowledge of math and good. It's not. It's behavior first. You must change your behavior to be a saver, and that's not gained by making good math and calculations. You must change the behavior to start saving, making money from money, and not wishing to buy this very expensive computer. You can delay it, say, I'll buy it in 20 years when I earn enough money from my passive investments. So it's a behavioral thing. It's not a money thing, okay? So most people think that you have to be rich to be rich. No, that's not the way. You have to be a saver, then you must draw from that money. The base salary, one person just warned me, said, are you joking about the people who make base salary? I said, yes, I'm forcing them to get out of that loophole, so that they can save some money, and instead of working like, such a small amount of money all day long, they can save that money within 1 year, so that the money can give them the same amount of money. That's about 11,000 TL per month right now. And 11,000 TL per month, I can tell you, this computer won't work at night. It's refusing, protesting, says, there is not enough light. I will not work, So I have to calculate in another one. But basically, if you have only maybe 100,000 TL, you can make similar amount of money in the mutual funds. So why worry about going to job every morning, doing this and that? So I'm just pushing them to, be smart, don't work hard, work smart, let your money work for you. So you can save and you can eat bread within a bread for lunch, but save money, okay? Not at the work. At the work, the boss is providing the lunch. But when you go on the weekend, you should eat bread within a week, within a bread for at least a year, to save that amount of money and put it to work, and then let the monies come in, pour like a fountain. Okay, so this is called negative pressure, putting negative pressure on people, so that he must say, I must get out of this loophole. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. It's a psychological thing. Okay, now I wish all of you a very good night, and don't do second job, third job. Tell your wife not to call so much, for her mother-in-law. But with WhatsApp, it's no problem. It's free. So see you all.